you've got
An eye infection. No, it's not a black eye, I've got an eye infection.
Yeah.
Shall I sit over you?
It's just so.
Or could I use this chair?
Yes.
I use this chair.
Sorry.
I was just interested really in your... Because I was going through a crisis, which is why I was coming to you on the crisis team. I'll wait for my daughter to call me. And I found your approach not very therapeutic. I found it very cold. Kind of almost... I didn't feel like you were behaving like a psychiatrist. It was quite an odd experience. And I sort of felt really kind of, I don't know, under pressure to kind of find something that I'd done wrong just so you would, because I wasn't seeing you, I was seeing Hannah, Harry's, and you, and a woman called Katrina, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. And so, first of all, I found you very cold. I didn't think you behaved like a professional psychiatrist that's dealing with someone who's going through a crisis.
In what way? Could you be more specific?
I just did. I found you very cold. I didn't find you very professional. You didn't come across as a psychiatrist that was helping someone going through a crisis.
Well, that sounds unfortunate, but it's hard for me to comment apart from to say that my recollection of it is that I was just looking at the notes that I made about our meeting then, was that some of it was taken up with this question of whether you find contact not just with me but with several other clinicians of various kinds. Do you find it helpful, or do you find it in some way punitive or humiliating? And you were talking particularly about the referral that had been made to the Personality Disorder Service, which I think you had felt might
What
be...
was she called again, the woman who saw?
Do you mean the lady who represents...
Yes. What's her name again?
Dip Habaya. Do
Dip.
you mean
I'm a dip.
Aman Dip
I'm
Habaya?
a dip, yes.
Who I think you saw subsequently.
Yeah.
And I think I was proposing that service, I thought had resources that might very well help you. And I think you've been dubious about it. You didn't like the term personality disorder. But after we discussed it for a while, I think you settled on the idea that it might be worth trying it.
Well, anything really, just to, get you all off my back and to torture me. And, really, basically, at the end of the day, because I've just got to sit here and take it. There's nothing therapeutic happening here. Certainly wasn't with you or Katrina.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's obviously for you to say. But I suppose you don't expect me to say that we're trying to torture you. We're trying to help.
You were that day. I was in a crisis and you were behaving in a very cold manner. I started off, telling you how I was feeling, and you just kind of cut me short. It was like as if you really didn't give a shit about how I was feeling, really. That's not what we're going to be talking about today. You weren't interested. You were quite cold. You didn't come across as a psychiatrist. And if you remember at one point, because I'd just been sort of spilling my guts out, telling you how I was feeling, and you were very cold, you weren't interested, and I said, I'm sorry, I thought you were a psychiatrist. Sorry. I don't know if you remember that moment.
I don't actually.
No, I thought you did. All right, well, thank you anyway for coming to see me.
But it's still the case that both Dr. McGurney and I think all of us want to find whatever we can do to help?
Well, there's been really, practical things. Because obviously I can't make that my ex and his friends go to personality disorder counselling. So it's me, I have to go and do that to be able to cope with the bullying from them and my neighbours and his friends. So yeah. Okay?
Perhaps,
And to deal with social services,
trying to put together.
Do you remember we spoke with Bridget, when Bridget came last, and we spoke about how she witnessed social services abusing my children for over 4 hours and myself in my own home? Do you remember we discussed this?
Bridget is her friend.
Do you remember we discussed that? And she said, yeah, it was awful. She wrote statements, and we also spoke about how the statement that she sent to my email address got deactivated, and I couldn't activate it again. I've got a letter here way back when I tried to complain about what happened, and it says that he denies, that Mr. Little denied all the allegations. He's a social worker who said he did constellation therapy, but he didn't actually behave
This
well.
go back to how many years?
This is right at the beginning of the abuse that I had and my family have had to deal with from social services.
Is it last year or the year before?
No, this is way back.
2004?
To 2014, so 14th of May. Dear Miss Taylor, your complaint. I write in response to your email complaint dated the 14th of May 2014, which we formally received from the Complaints Department on the 21st of May 2014. You should have received a letter dated the 2nd of June, blah blah blah. There would be a letter. I have extracted your concerns from the email and have responded as follows. Miss Littlejohn was downstairs with me, putting a great amount of pressure on me to change the decision we had all come to that afternoon on the 1st of May. He denied all involvement on his decision, including the mobile phone. In respect to your concern that Mr. Little denied all involvement on the decision of ceasing contact, I have read in your complaint email that you attended the meeting on the 1st of May 2014 to talk about the decision of childcare arrangements made by yourself and your lawyer. Therefore, you have acknowledged that it was your decision and that of your lawyer to resume full-time care of the children and stop contact between Mr. Jess and your daughters, Rosie and Ruby. You explained that you took the decision due to you having concerns about Mr. Jess' care of the children. Further, Mr. Little emailed you outlining that you're entitled to Anyway, it goes on to say that Mr. Little denied it all. Now, first of all, I went to my lawyer to talk about, because I was getting bullied by the head, Christopher Hatton School, Gwen Lee, a social worker called Tandy, and the father of my children. They were bullying me into giving him money and sharing the childcare 50-50. I spoke to my lawyer about it, and I said I wasn't happy about it because when their clothes and their school books go to his house, he lives in such chaos, he can never find anything. And so I spoke to my lawyer, and she said, email social services, Roger, and the school, informing them that the girls would be staying with me for 4 days and 3 days with him. I did not go there with any intention of stopping them from seeing their father altogether. I can't do it all on my own. Mr. Little made me feel that if the concerns that I was concerned about, if I didn't agree to their terms, it would be me responsible for any neglect. Now, he told me to take the mobile phone away, and he told me that he would come around the next day and help our oldest daughter Rose through it. They came round, they lied, they told my daughter that I lied, that it was all my idea, that they had nothing to do with it. She can see her father if she wants, and she can have her mobile phone. They abused me in front of my friend Bridget, calling her a much better mother. think he's saying that he thought that Bridget was a much better mother than myself. No, Bridget, do you remember the conversation? Yeah.
Can I just make a comment? I mean, it's obvious from what you're saying that there's so many kind of successive instances of things just not working out in any way that you can possibly feel is fair or helpful. That would be the statement of the obvious. We can listen to it and we can sympathise as best we can.
Don't you support people that are getting abused by corruption within social services?
That's what I'm coming to. What can we here do about this? And the trouble is, I think that there is very little we can do to kind of intervene in a dispute which is really between you and social services in regard to the children. We need to be aware of how you feel about it.
How about supporting a vulnerable adult that's going through a crisis, that's being abused and her family by Camden Social Services? How about supporting me, vulnerable adult,
Well,
that's attending here
let's address
because
that.
she's having to go through a crisis because she's dealing
Let's try and
with
answer that.
corruption within social services that are abusing not just me and my children?
Let's try and answer that question. Okay. Obviously, that situation, as you described it, has a distressing effect on you.
And it's continued. So the other issue we have with social services is they have a Sabrina McWilliams working as a child protection officer at EGA for Roads. Now she also works in Labour Council with a councillor, Julian Fulbrook, who works with Roger in SCAT for the past 3 years. Now she's been attending these social work meetings and her, Roger, ridicule me. The social workers don't mind. And I wondered why, and then it took me ages and I realised it's because she works with Julian Fulbrook. You know, this is not actually legal. I'm a vulnerable adult, that's why I'm attending the Southampton crisis team. How am I supposed to deal with this situation unless you give me some proper practical support?
What could that be?
You tell me.
Practice.
You tell me. Some kind of legal, proper help to deal with social services and the corruption that's going on.
Somehow to join with you in your dispute with them.
To give me some support.
Well, there's a difference between supporting you at a psychological level, which we are trying to do, and joining in a practical way with.
How
is
is coming in and
writing
talking
a letter
to you about it? I wrote a complaint, you just said that. Didn't I? I just read the letter to you. This was in response to me writing a complaint, and I had a statement. And then my email address got deactivated.
Deactivate, the implication being that the deactivation of the email is a sort of.
Well, no, because all the toing from it. When I was in Israel, I was sent, and I've got it here, I was sent a document insisting to return the children ASAP. And Roger had gone to court and accused me of abducting the kids, and I hadn't. No. And first of all, legally, you have to hand deliver such a document. You can't send it by email. But I did return the children, and I paid for British Airways to return them because I just couldn't bear to come back to that hell for another couple of weeks. Now, this has just been going on and on and on.
It has, isn't it? It's got a long story to it. And just to go back to that question,
because talking to you, it's like being, they used to do those sketches of Newsnight, with sort of politicians being interviewed. It's like being in a sketch, like a BBC sketch review.
In what sense? I don't understand.
Carry on.
Well, I was just agreeing with your
yeah.
point that this has a very long history to it. It does seem to kind of go on much the same, in a way, episode after episode after episode after episode, which, I must say, leaves me wondering, can we look for a slightly different approach? Can we kind of really look a little bit more in detail at that question. What can or cannot be done by anyone involved, including us here, to help you with all this? Because, I mean,
I'm
I
very
do
overwhelmed with it. Could you give me some
I do
practical
believe, well, it depends what you mean by practical support. If that would mean, for example, launching some sort of complaint about Hamlet Social Services, I don't think we can do that. No, we don't. We can't do that. It's not our role to do that. We can talk to you like this, and indeed, I remember when you came and we talked, about three months ago or so, you did actually say on that occasion that you did find just having someone to talk to about it could be helpful, it could be some sort of relief.
Oh, I was just trying to steal from my fucking back.
Maybe you were, but you did say.
Sorry about this.
Okay, and I understand. I'm not.
I mean, you weren't around
refusing
here,
to
and
hear
I was dealing with him, Katrina, and Henius Harries, and it was fucking awful. So I was just agreeing to whatever they wanted. Plus, I have to agree to whatever social services wanted because they weren't allowing me to see my children.
But there is a sort of important distinction between what you might call practical help, which would be dealing with your reality out there, us sort of jumping into your life and, as it were, standing shoulder to shoulder with you, fighting battles that you regard as necessary to
what
fight.
You do
which
is
we cannot.
vulnerable. If someone is coming here, they're going through a crisis, they're vulnerable. So you
Yes.
also can help them by pointing them, supporting them, giving some kind of work to help them deal with the abuse of Camden Social Services
So let's just think,
and Holborn
what
Police
could that be?
Station
What point
and
is-
Christopher Hatton Primary School and EGA, the fact that they've got a woman working, a child protection officer, EGA, who's working on the case, who openly disrespects me during social service meetings. No one does anything about it because she works with Julian Fallbrook, who Roger is very close with. He's a counsellor, she's a counsellor for Labour Council, they know each other, she shouldn't be working on the case. Now, come on.
But what could we do about that, as you perceive it?
Oh, let's not get my hands.
Well, yes, I'd rather we didn't.
No,
I think it'd be much
So
better
you
not
can't
to.
do anything to help?
So, not with the fact that, all of that you've just described, which you've described many times, and we can hear it and say, yes, we see that, you regard this as a huge problem. We can say that, but it doesn't make any difference to it, does it? And
Sorry.
what's funny about it?
I have to worry.
So what can we do? We can point to certain things, certain possible sources of help for you in your own mental state, in your own state of ability to cope with these things yourself. And there are certain things that potentially might be of some help, including things that Hilary Greater, who's also tried very hard to help you, has suggested, and I think we agree with her suggestions. One of them was to try some joint meetings with your children's father, Roger. And I think the reason that you're now here again is because you had essentially another crisis taking
We
place
went to go,
following the
Hilary
first
Greater.
of those meetings.
Hilary Greater was, Dr. Barrett referred me to Hilary Greater.
Yes.
Hilary Greater, through our discussions, we thought it would be good if she could get us some kind of family couple counselling.
Yes, of course.
So we went to meet this woman,
Erin.
Erin, and Roger wanted to discuss about me giving him more money, and I said, well, I've had my bank account hacked, and so I can give you cash now, and Erin can be the witness, and no, he wants me to pay into his bank account. And then Erin asked questions about, does the girls ask the question to Rose and Ruby, where would they like you guys to get on? Would they like to be living back with Mummy? And she asked me, and I said, well, I think you'd have to ask. No, she wanted to know about Rose, that's right. She said, what would Rose say? And I said, well, I think you'd have to ask Rose. Rose. And she went, Roger, what would you think Rose would say? And he said, oh, I think she wouldn't want to come, no, blah, blah, blah. Ruby would, but not Rosie. It was just a very odd, not very helpful, actually.
Okay, so is there any future in it as far as... Is that suggestion a useful one still or not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems quite difficult, really, at the moment. I
Yes,
think
okay.
I have to back off because the more I try to have a normal life with my children, the more they drag my children into their father and his friends, drag them in playing,
But I suppose...
shitty games. Now, I've just come back from Dr. Barrett because Rose, she hurt her leg a while back. She said it was called severed. She'd been walking around with crutches and a special sort of boot with a sort of cushion for her heel for over 2 months. Anyway, we went to go to see Dr. Elliot about eczema for her hand. This is another doctor, surgery at Bloomsbury, Gower Place. Rather, not Bloomsbury. And Dr. Elliot was quite concerned about what it was that was wrong with her foot. She hadn't heard of severs. Rose had to explain it to her. She asked Rose where she'd gone to get the diagnosis, and Rose said she was sent to a podiatrist in Belsize Park, and then he referred her to UCH. And I confirmed that with Roger, and Roger said the same thing. But then when I looked up, the podiatrist in Belsize Park is only one, and it's private, and it's run by one of Roger's friends. There's a photograph there of one of Roger's friends. Then Roger denied that they went to Belsize Park. So I go back to the surgery today, because Dr. Barrett said he talked to Dr. Elliot, and Dr. Elliot does remember the conversation, does remember Rose saying that she went to Belsize Park, but in fact, none of it happened. She didn't go to Belsize Park. And I said to Dr. Barrett, don't you think that's a bit worrying? He said, well, it is odd. And I said, well, it's disturbing. But both my daughter, who's 13, and the father lied to me, said they went to a clinic in Belsize Park when they didn't. So that when I Googled and looked at this Belsize Park clinic, there was a picture of one of Roger's friends who runs the clinic in Belsize Park.
How does this bear upon Erin?
Sorry?
How does this bear upon possibly going on seeing Erin together with...
How does it let's see.
That's how you started.
So Dr. Barrett doesn't think that's strange behaviour. I find that very disturbing, that a father and a 13-year-old child is playing games, winding up, saying she'd gone to Belsize Park, and she podiatrist at Belsize Park, and she hadn't, and it was one that was run by one of Roger's friends. I find that very concerning, that a father is encouraging a 13-year-old to join in with these games. Now, Dr. Barrett didn't seem that worried. He just said, it is a bit odd. And he has spoken to Dr. Elliot, and she said, well, yes, Rose did say she went to Belsize Park, that's right, I remember, but she didn't go, so, I find that alarm bells myself. So Dr. Barrett refers me to Hilary Greater, who, in fact, being with sessions with Hilary Greater, it's quite grating. She refers us to go and see Erin, which again was not a very helpful situation.
That was my question. Could that still be helpful?
Yeah. No.
You don't. So you finished with Erin?
No, I haven't finished with Erin. We can still continue. But we have to keep continuing playing the game, don't we?
Well, you call it playing the game. Obviously, I would hope it's obvious that all these people, Erin, Hilary, Dr. Barrett, us,
might start behaving professionally.
I think we're all doing our best at behaving professionally. And to
do you see what I mean? Like, it's like a BBC interview trying to talk to, or an ITV or any kind of interview trying to talk to a politician. You just go round and round in circles.
Well, I suppose that you've been explaining yourself by someone who also to.
No, it's like interviewing a politician that's never going to give you a straight answer.
He's trying to.
No, I'm really. Don't worry, Doctor. It's been very nice to see you again.
Oh, yes, you
But we,
is.
Dr. McGanny and I work together.
Yes.
And you know, if you're trying to sort of get me out of the room so you can have a nice sort of
Because you don't do that, do you? You don't do nice chats.
I'm trying to be focused on what really could possibly help in this situation. And I mean, you may feel that this is not nice, but I think we should do that. We should think, what options are there that are actually available, feasible, and might be helpful? That surely is a simple.
To support me in dealing with social services, the police, we have been over and over about what's happening with me in Holborn Police Station. And
I think we're in danger of
Councillor
going round in
Julian
circles
Forbes.
again now.
No, support for that. Have you phoned up the housing officer?
I haven't been here.
You promised me that day we spoke that you would, and you didn't.
Yes, I tried.
So I've asked you
On
twice.
last day, I tried. I haven't been able to. I wasn't here yesterday. So I'm not desisting. I'm saying I'm not going to do it.
But how many times have I asked you
I missed that.
It's a phone call to the housing because Alison asked for a transfer. And this is 3 months ago. And it hasn't happened. They haven't come back to her with this transfer. And soon, Alison, sorry.
What could Dr. McGanny possibly say to the housing department?
Well, I've been coming here and talking to her about the bullying I'm getting from my neighbours who are Roger's friends, Roger the father who lives a street away, and how awful it's been over the past 2 years. And wouldn't it be practical and can really help my mental health if I was removed from that situation and placed somewhere else so that I am able to have a normal relationship with my children?
When I say I will have that conversation, I will talk to them.
Also, of course, what Dr. McGanny could say would be purely hearsay.
I have been coming here and talking to you about this, over a year now, and I'm, what do you mean it could be hearsay? What, she could be lying?
No, I think that, I'm not suggesting that Dr. McGanny would be lying. I don't know that anybody would be lying. All she can do is report what you say to her. You've presumably already told the housing authorities this yourself. And she can say this situation, as you describe it, is having, as you say, a distressing effect on you. She can say that, and it might possibly have some weight with the housing department. But she doesn't go and see the bullying taking place, does she?
See what I mean?
What?
I don't.
What did you say?
See what I mean?
What did you
It's like talking to a politician, a slipping politician.
Why? This is reality. This is what is happening.
Okay, so I've been coming here for over a year talking to you about what's been happening to me in that area because of the father of my children and his friends. I'm asking for practical support where that you could contact my housing association and express what is, that it would improve my mental state and my family life if I was moved as soon as possible. It's a really simple, practical thing, isn't
And
it?
I want to remind you about what was before that you talked about it and we discussed. And in the end, when you were discharged, you didn't want to move. That was before. And the other aspect was
Because I wanted to try and make it work,
Yes,
but it
don't
isn't
tell me that
being
you
worked. No. I tried to make it work because I've also had a loft conversion done, and I tried to make it work, so it made it very difficult to move. And it hasn't improved, it's got worse.
Then you were discharged, you were having other conversations with other people, including Hillary. And just recently, it's 3 months that you asked for the transfer. I haven't been involved with your parent all this time.
So you don't want to phone up and give me some
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just reminding you what is the events.
Okay.
So, and you're saying I've been here asking you over a year to give me practical.
No, I've been talking to you for over a year about what I'm experiencing, not about the transfer, about how I am feeling, what I'm experiencing from my environment. We're not talking about me asking you to write for over a year about transfer.
Okay.
I've been telling you about the discomfort, the torture that I'm going through living in that block.
At the end, you felt a lot better, isn't it?
No, I haven't felt better.
When you were...
No, I haven't felt
better.
It's hell. It's just fucking hell. No, I don't feel any better.
But this is all recently.
No, it's not. It's continued.
Should we talk about...
I've just been holding it together. Because I get fed up with meeting people like Dr. Thompson and Katrina.
Is there anything else that
Dealing
might
with
help
social
you
services.
to keep things together? I mean, you say, it's really difficult. It's hellish to live like this. It puts a huge strain on you. It affects your health, I'm sure. It's difficult to hold things together. Is there anything that we can do directly with you that might help you to kind of keep yourself together in the face of all this?
Oh no, I just said throw up my hands in this.
Now, what I'm talking about is not things that we go out and do elsewhere, it's things that we might do directly with you, such as medication, for example.
Really? So I'm taken sexually. What do you suggest?
Well,
Lithium?
my first question is, do you think the sertraline has been any help?
It's all right.
What difference does it make?
Well, unless you're going to turn me into a vegetable, it's very difficult to not feel bullying and relentless bullying and torturing by the father and his friends. So unless you're going to put me in a coma...
No, of course we don't.
No? What about a coma? Because I think that's the only way I'm going to stop feeling.
I get the sense that you're constantly sort of on edge and constantly sort of feeling that there's really, in the end, no one there to help you.
My neighbours want me out, but the Housing Association are enjoying me staying there. Would have been bloody torture. Julian Fulbrook, Chair of Social Housing. Used to be Chair of Social Services, Mayor of Camden. Also used to be Governor at Crystal Hatton's Primary School too.
You're returning now to one of the features of your environmental network of things. We can't change the fact.
No, you can't, but you could contact my corrupt housing association and say, will you please move this poor woman from your block out of one housing into another borough, any housing association or council apart from Labour,
certainly
one housing, please.
I don't know what is the effect or how quickly or how it's going to act.
So,
I would do that.
Yeah, we would be, I think, failing to kind of view all the options.
So I went to my doctor. I saw Dr. Alibi yesterday because Dr. Barrett wasn't there.
Right.
He gave me some cream for my eye, which you give for skin infections, and I explained to him, no, I've got something in my eye, it's an infection. And he said, oh no, put this on, just put it on the skin. This is what I woke up with. I woke up this morning with it like this. He also gave me 14 Valium.
Oh, right. Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Now,
Did you ask for that?
Yeah. Because I was... Yeah.
Okay.
And isn't it interesting though, the following Friday, I take an overdose. Dr. Barrett gives me 14 or 15 Valium. I take an overdose. The hospital takes me to the hospital. Joe drags me out before I've even had a chance to see a doctor. But the police attended because they kicked my door down. The ambulance took me. They know that my doctor gave me the medication. Now, wouldn't you immediately contact the doctor's surgery and inform them not to give her any more Valium because she took an overdose? Now, I went today and I asked Dr. Barrett, is it on the records? And he said there was nothing. He didn't even know about it.
So that's one good reason why we should get this clear now, so that we can be in contact.
And that's my doctor who referred me to Hilary Greater, who referred us to Erin.
The doctors get information clearly.
Yeah, communication. And everybody...
If someone tries to overdose...
So, just at the moment...
If someone tries to commit suicide, and their doctor's given them 15 Valium, the hospital, by law, should inform my doctor's surgery, but they didn't.
Well, let's try.
They
That's,
didn't.
if that's the case, that's regrettable. But let's now try and put that right. And
UCH didn't
I would,
contact Gower Place Medical Practice.
but if nothing else, I would really think it's important that we don't end this talk today without you telling us how much medication you have at home or with you, available to you. I mean, the point we're making is a very good one. How should your medication be organised? Who should you deal with? Who should prescribe it?
What medication do you think I should take, Dr. Thompson?
Well, that's. I'm not going to just sort of make a
Go on.
decision about that
Just
off
give us
the top of my head.
Go on, just a few.
It sounds like
Go on.
sertraline. That's why I'm asking you.
What do you reckon?
What sertraline might possibly give some help.
Well, that's what I'm taking.
Yes, but I'm still not clear from what you're saying whether you think that's your opinion is the most important one.
Okay,
Has it been any help?
Could you take something where I don't feel pain?
Don't feel pain.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about being bullied and completely freaked out and mentally
well,
debased.
given that these experiences,
Is there
these
medication
things
for
are so. No, I think obviously it's not. Medication isn't going to change those sort of aspects of your environment, as you say, which are a problem to you. What it can do is to help you be in a condition where you can better respond, be more robust in response to those things.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So what do you
sertraline
suggest? What do you suggest?
Sertraline is a sensible suggestion. You've been taking it for some time. I still haven't really heard whether you think it's actually been of any value to you or not. I mean, you say it's all right, but, well, what's that mean?
I'll say it again. Unless you can prescribe something where I turn into a dribbling zombie and I don't feel it. Have you got any of that?
No. And even if I had, of course, I wouldn't prescribe it because I don't want to turn you into a dribbling zombie. That is not the intention.
So what do you think? How do you think there's a better antidepressant that will help my situation?
I don't know of a better antidepressant, to be honest. No, I don't. But I do know of other things that might work in conjunction. Let's think about the value of diazepam. Now, as you said, various other doctors have thought that might possibly help you to kind of cope with things a bit better. It's got its drawbacks, as you say yourself. Taken an overdose, it can be dangerous. It certainly can be.
So we're cancel out Valium. What do you think will help?
No, I'm not completely cancelling out Valium because I think that used judiciously, used selectively, it can actually have some value. But please, could you just answer my question? How much Valium do you have available to you as of now when you leave? You had these 2 prescriptions and 14 Valium tablets, you said. How much of them have you now already used?
No, I feel away. I was just interested to see if the doctor would give it to me.
So you're saying you have none?
No.
Why did you throw them away?
I don't need them.
You don't need them. Okay, so you took an overdose of some. How many did you take in the overdose? 15. So that accounted for pretty much, more than one of the prescriptions completely. Is that right?
That was the prescription was given before by Dr. Barrett. So the prescription you took on that day.
And
That was on the 20.
You said you had another prescription subsequently.
That was
another doctor,
yesterday.
Alibi.
Yes.
And
Good name for it.
And you've already thrown those away.
Yeah. I was just interested to see if you'd give them to me or not.
You asked them.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, just as a sort of aside, where did you throw them away?
I gave them to someone to look after.
That's not throwing them away.
Well, it's not having them on my
But it's.
So, why do you want to know what's happened to them?
Because it's important. I mean, it's a medical intervention, isn't it? It's as you say yourself that if they're misused, they could possibly.
So that's why I threw them away, gave them to someone to look after. I change it. I gave them to someone to look after.
Okay. Can I ask you? I mean, who did you give them to?
No, you can't ask.
You're not prepared to tell me that.
No.
But you could get them back again if you asked them.
If I wanted to, yes.
So you do have them available.
Yes.
You haven't thrown them away, so.
No, but I've got rid of them so that they can give it to me, just in case I get really low and take the whole lot. And
Okay, well that sounds sensible. Do you think, I hope you won't feel offended by me asking this, but I think I have to. It is an adult you give them to, not a child.
Yes, it's an adult, not a child.
Fine, thank you. But that's, for obvious reasons, that's
Very strange question to ask.
not at all. Given that your parenting is not by us necessarily, but by social services, always sort of under examination. If they
Do you see what I mean?
say,
You see what I mean? Okay, you can leave now, thank you.
well, me just mentioning that offends you, I think.
Yes, I do find it very offensive.
But,
You can leave now, please.
well,
I do not wish to continue this conversation with you. You can leave now.
can I just make one further point before I do? Which is that I think that any other options that might possibly be there for you in the future, you shouldn't express it. You should express an opinion about whether you think they could possibly be of any help. Now,
No, I don't feel
we're
that
going
you
through
can be of
different
any help.
kinds of
Could you leave,
medication.
please?
And
I
there
don't think
are,
you're going to be any help at all. Can you please
not me
leave?
personally, but I might be able to talk.
No, thank you.
Okay. Well,
I'd like to close this
if
conversation.
that's the case, it means that we can't help you because
You know you're not going to help me anyway.
I'm the consultant for this team. If you won't talk to me, you can't deal with this team.
No, that's fine. I don't want to deal with you.
I'm afraid that's the case.
All right.
But
Bye. Thank you.
that means that we have to end this. I mean, we're certain this is not coercive. I'm trying to
Goodbye.
draw you into a sensible discussion. If you won't have
But
it,
you're not having a sensible discussion.
well, that's your opinion.
You've just said to me, like, I've explained about the corruption and the abuse that I have had to deal with Camden Social Services. Now, you've just asked me a question. Have I given 14 Valium to a child to look after for me? And I responded negatively and asked you, what on earth would make you think you did that? And you said, well, because social services are constantly scrutinising my ability as
So
a
I would
mother.
like to be able to be your advocate and say, yes.
But you've just asked me, have I given the Valium to a child?
I want to verify that you haven't.
Why would you think I would give them to a child? Where did this
Such
come
things
from?
can happen. I was just anticipating that I might possibly be asked by social services. Did you ask? How are these value tablets being looked
What
after?
would a
And I have.
45-year-old mother be doing, giving a packet of Valium to a child to look after them for her?
Well, I would hope they wouldn't.
And I've just explained to
But
you the
I have
corruption
no
and the
people.
abuse, and I've shown you letters, we've spoken about witnesses, and you have just insulted me by saying, well, social services have been scrutinising your ability as a mother.
I hope you wouldn't feel offended, but clearly you feel offended.
Clearly, of course I'm going to be offended.
Well,
Come on,
I
Dr.
don't
Thompson.
think that's clear. I think you might, you could equally well regard it as me equipping myself with the ability to actually make a case to social services that you are not the kind of mother who would do that, which I am now actually able to do. Whereas if I didn't ask the question, I wouldn't honestly be able to do that. So you see, you're turning a positive into a negative, actually. You may not accept that, but I believe that's the case. I'm also really concerned not to do anything directly against your will by staying in the room if you really don't want me to be in the room. But I think if you do insist that I leave straight away, you're going to cut yourself off from a couple of other points that could be to your benefit.
So you're threatening me. If I do not continue to talk to you, you will stop all support from this service.
It's not a threat, it's just a...
So this isn't torture then, or bullying, what we're doing now. You're telling me if I do not sit here and end this conversation with you until you've decided it's finished, South Camden Crisis Team will not offer me any more support.
I think there are a couple of really important points that we haven't touched on yet, which I'm sure
I'll sit here, you bully away, I'll sit here and
Should I tell you what they are?
Go on.
Okay. Are there any other medications that are worth considering? And
You tell me, you're the doctor.
that's what I'm just asking if I can do. Okay. And there is a medication that's commonly used in conjunction with surgery, which is called quetiapine, which...
Just the what?
Quetiapine.
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 Quetiapine, okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Quetiapine, no?
Yes, you've never taken it before?
No.
It's a medication with diverse effects. It has a sedative effect. A sort of anti-anxiety effect, somewhat comparable to diazepam, but it doesn't have quite the same dependency forming difficulties. And in a way, if you need something that's there to help you with panics or moments of disabling anxiety,
And you
or
take
sleep
that
as
along
well,
with?
you can take it in conjunction with surgery.
Okay.
It
And
works together.
what's the side effects?
If it's taken in too great an amount, it can make you feel sedated. That would not be the intention.
It'll make you feel
sedated.
Yeah.
Can make you feel too tired. It can make you feel a bit dizzy. It can make you sometimes have a bit more of an appetite than you would normally have. But it's as
What else?
medications
What are the
go,
other side effects?
it can make you feel a little bit nauseous as well, paradoxically. Those are the main ones.
Any more?
Those are the main ones.
No, thank you.
Okay.
I will teach. Maybe we could up my doses.
What is the dosage?
50.
It could go up.
Let's go up, put that up a bit, and in the meantime, perhaps if Dr. Thompson is not going to bully me anymore and say he's not going to offer any more services until he's finished the conversation with me and I'm allowed to leave the room, perhaps you could contact my housing and help me get moved.
One more point.
And then when I do get moved away from my neighbours and Roger, I will be strong enough to deal with social services and find the correct lawyer and procedure and feel strong enough to fight that. But I need to get out of social one housing and Camden, which is run by Labour, because Julian bloody Fulbrook is corrupt. And I'm being illegally abused and tortured by my local government. All because I went to Israel to the cybercrime department.
One really important point about medication. Can we agree that it would be your GP practice that would be prescribing?
No, I'm not going back there.
You're not going back there?
No, I'm going to change doctors.
But Dr. Barrett has been very staunch.
So Dr. Barrett prescribed me the Valium. I take an overdose. I go back. What's today? What day is it? Thursday. So last Friday I tried to kill myself. By then the hospital would have informed the medical practice about it. I think it's very important they would have. They haven't. Dr. Alibi prescribes me another 15 or 14 Valium. No, I haven't finished yet. He also prescribed, I told him I'd got something in my eye and it was infected, and he just prescribed me this cream for skin infections. And of course I woke up this morning, I couldn't open it, and I went back to Dr. Barrett, and Dr. Barrett gave me the right medication. I also asked him to have a look on the records to see if there was any new information about me. He said, no, nothing. I said, so you didn't know that I tried to kill myself Friday then? He said, no, there's nothing from the records. No, I haven't finished yet. Now, I also spoke with Dr. Barrett today about this experience with Dr. Elliott, about the joke that the father and my 13-year-old daughter played on me about her going to this Belsize private clinic, but they never did, and it was run by Roger's friend. And Dr. Elliott, Barrett said he spoke to Dr. Elliott, and yes, she does remember that, and it was odd, but she didn't go anyway. And I said to Dr. Barrett, this rings alarm bells to me. Don't you find this is very disturbing? That a father is, encouraging our daughter, to play the kind of games he's playing. And Dr. Barrett just said, well, it is a bit odd.
He told us this before.
So that's why I will not be going back to the surgery.
But if you really intend to change it, it doesn't happen instantaneously. And I think, just to say that you're aware of this, we will contact Dr. Barrett and the surgery just to make sure that they know about what medications we believe you to have and not have, and about the recommendation when we see the surgery. You may find yourself with no other doctor to go to if you are sort of stuck between
I'm
doctors.
sure I will. I'm sure I will find it impossible.
Well, I hope not, because I think you need a doctor. Dr. Barrett actually has been a good doctor. To reject him because of one.
I'm not rejecting Dr. Barrett. I'm rejecting Gower Place medical practice.
Well,
Okay? Dr. Barrett is a good man.
I'm not going to hold you to that.
He is a good man, but if he was a good doctor, I think he would contact social services, after talking with Dr. Elliott, and, discuss this issue. Don't you?
To support you? Because of the
Yes.
project?
Well, don't you think it's a concern that a 13-year-old child is being manipulated and used in these stupid men's games to mentally unbalance me? Now, if Rose had said it to Dr. Elliott while I was there, Dr. Barrett has spoken with Dr. Elliott. She said, she confirmed that happened. Now, as a surgery, don't you think they should contact the right authorities and say that this is unhealthy behaviour for a father to be encouraging a daughter? Because both he said that she'd gone to Belsize Park, and so did Rose. And when I looked at the clinic, it was Roger's friend that runs the clinic. Yes. So that is why I'm rejecting Gower Place medical practice.
You are jumping.
That's why I neglect.
Far.
That's why I